The beauty about being yourself is realizing that you can be many things all at once, embracing your potential in all its forms. On this week on Quad Enough, we will be diving into the world of multipotentialism and living to the highest peak of self expression. What's up, people? Quite enough. Welcome to another episode. I hope you all are doing great and you've been enjoying all the episodes so far. And I'm also enjoying it, and I'm also happy every time we get to have guests on the show, and then all the nuggets they get to share with us and getting a deep dive into their lives. Well, today is another new day, which means we have a new guest on the show. Now, I'm very excited about this guest because, according to him, it's been a century in the making. It's something that we've always wanted to do, but then he's finally here. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a multidisciplinary artist, Arem. Welcome to Kind Enough.
Thanks, man. I'm so happy to be here.
How do you feel? Aside from happy, how are you?
I feel like the universe brought me here, and it's always like a pleasure to speak the language of the universe. So if I'm speaking it in this podcast, then I'm happy.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into Arem's life or Arem's world in a bit, but before that, we're going to start off with What's New, our segment where we get to catch up on what's new. Now, first off on our list, last week we spoke about the event, the EFC event, Learn This Party is a new event that they have every Mondays, and I think you were there.
Yeah.
So there was like a mix of different arts. There was like music, there was dance, there was poetry, culinary arts. How was the experience?
I think it was great. I believe that Yaounde really misses those types of experiences because we are so close in our minds, and the vision we have on art is really close. So when there are events that targets that particular spot and bring people together around different types of arts, and the vision enlarges itself. So I was happy. I was happy.
I think EFC has been doing a lot when it comes to like cultural or arts. They've been doing a lot in investing into that industry. But something I'm not really happy about is the fact that it's just the French Institute that is doing, just the French Embassy that is doing that. I'm not seeing a lot of things from the American Embassy or the British High Commission, because most times the events are kind of tailored mostly for the Francophone or the French speakers. And I'm expecting that, okay, it's a bilingual country, so we should have we should have things not just from the French side, even though there are things that happen English-wise at EFC. We also want to have something from the British culture. We want something from the American Embassy. And I'm really hoping or keeping my fingers crossed that we can have something like that. Still talking about EFC, on Thursday, Livka was our guest for last week. He had his first live concert. And it was such an experience because when I discovered him last year, my mind was like, who is this? I was like, okay, I'm watching him. Let's see what he's going to give us. And ever since he's been on my radar, he and his team have been doing an amazing job with his branding, his visual identity, everything. Like, there are certain things you see, there are certain patterns you see. I'm like, no, this is Livka. And the turn up was amazing because the concert didn't happen in the main hall where people were sitting, so it was an apero concert in the lobby. So people were standing, people were singing all the lyrics to his songs, and I'm sure he was very proud. And I just want to say kudos to him and also his team for doing an amazing job. And I really, really love it when new artists don't just give us one song and just relax. Okay, support me. What are you doing to show us that, okay, I'm actually doing something that I want to take you on a journey on? And I think that's what he's doing. So, kudos to him. And finally, we were there at Smelo's listening party for his
Yeah.
album, and I just want to say it's like the music side of entertainment wants to take hold of me because I've been mostly with artists or experiencing their art mostly at this period. Smelo's album was wholesome. It was really wholesome. But I want to hear what you think about what you thought about it.
Smilo is an amazing artist, and like I said, Yaounde has to listen to artists that break boundaries, And Smilo's album was a mixture of culture, Cameroon, and a really eccentric,
Yeah.
pattern of his personality and alternative music pushed to the urban side of it. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really love when art is really out of what we are used to see, especially on the musical scene, and being listening to it in Yaounde is an amazing
Yeah.
experience.
I think one of the things that struck me was the storytelling of the
Yeah,
album. The storytelling was on point.
yeah,
And it was really a journey he took us on from the opening to the middle till the end. It's something I would love to listen over and over again. And somebody asked him a question. He said, you wrote these songs years ago. Why do you think it's going to be valuable now? And he said something that I loved, where he said he didn't want to create something for trends. He wanted to create something timeless.
yeah.
And I think he did just that. So kudos to you, Smelo. It was really, really an amazing album. So, yes, away from what's new. So, before we get into you, let's play a little game. Are you
Okay,
down?
okay, let's go.
Okay, it's this or that. So, you have to choose one. All right.
Okay,
Music or movies?
music,
I think I saw that coming. So, minimalistic or maximalistic art?
oh, that's a tough question because the two parts of me love both. So, can I say both?
Okay.
Yeah,
Solo art or collaborative art? Both. Okay. Monochrome or colorful outfits?
monochrome.
You look like a monochrome guy, so I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
saw that
yeah,
coming.
definitely.
Okay, so most people know Arem as a multidisciplinary. And when we talk about multidisciplinary, you perform different forms of art which you thrive in. But before we get into the Arem that we know now, I want us to go down the memory lane.
Okay.
How was your childhood like?
Actually, my childhood was very calm
Okay.
because I come from a very religious family, and my dad was overprotective. My dad is my superhero, and he wanted to protect me so much from the world that actually at some point I wanted to just come
Break
out,
out.
and I had my experiences working out. I was in a gang. Yeah, that's crazy. Nobody knows that side of me,
Okay.
except those who know me back then. So
All right.
yeah, I did some raw stuff in the streets before actually realizing that that wasn't me, and I just needed a mode of expression, and that's when art came in. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what was there a particular experience or something that happened in your life that you decided, okay, at this point, I want to start like living to the highest peak of self-expression? Was there something that exactly that happened?
Um, I'm gonna say two.
All right.
Actually, growing up, I was very shy. I wasn't very confident. I had my my flaw was always I'm too good, I'm too kind. So I had like a self-reflectory moment, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna be this type of nigga. I'm gonna be showing off. I'm gonna be this. And that actually pushed me to the other extreme of it, where I became very rough, wicked person. And I had another strike in my mind where I realized I was becoming the monster I hated. And then I decided, okay, I need some space to be myself fully. And that was the moment I decided, okay, second one of the new me.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's the first thing you started art-wise? What's the first thing you began with?
Music, I was, and songwriting actually,
Songwriting. Okay.
because I wanted to become a rapper. So yeah, I
Oh.
started to rap, and I was heavy on the rap, hip hop side of me. Then I decided, and I realized that I was more passionate about songwriting, and that's when the poetry came in. You know,
Yeah.
from songwriting, I went to poetry, and my vision of poetry wasn't just putting words. I was visualizing it. So from there, I went to like creative direction of pictures, photography, modeling myself. Then everything just, you know, went from there.
Hey, that's really an interesting start because even at Smelo's listening party there was this whole conversation about being a multipotentialite and you kind of lose fans where people will be like, okay, I don't know where this person is headed,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
for you, do you think you getting involved with different forms of art kind of did you good or did it kind of like confuse people or were you able to own the narrative through that?
I'm actually aiming to confuse people. You know, that's crazy
Okay.
because I believe art is a spirit,
All right.
and pushing the spirit of art into, you know, prisons of their minds is, in my opinion, contrary to the essence of art. And my fight and the combat mode I'm in is to bring people back to that, you know, to realize that, okay, you are Jemma, you are an artist. I consider you an artist because everything you're doing is art, you know. That means if I ask you some questions on architecture, maybe you're gonna have a particular vision based on how you feel it. You know, that's also art, and it's an expression of you.
Yeah.
So I believe it's a whole like I'm just an artist. I'm not just a poet. I'm not just a model. I'm not just a dancer. I'm just an artist expressing it in the way that fits a particular moment in a particular space. So yeah, that's it.
I think your analogy of that is kind of really really interesting
Yeah,
because people try to want to give us labels, and I think at the listening party, still going back to that because that's what kind of like sparked a lot of questions in my
yeah,
mind where people are like, okay, we want to know you for one thing first, and after we've known you for one thing, you can now start branching out, and there was that whole argument where it's like, why do I have to be one thing to you
yeah,
people? Why don't I just live? Because I believe that everybody has something inside of them and it's not just one thing. And you can do everything. Even if you don't have the talent for it, you can learn it.
yeah,
I can say, okay, I'm not good with maybe photography, but I'm going to learn it and I might still end up just even for a hobby. I don't
yeah,
have to be good at it to consider it as something serious and people have to tag me as anything. And I think I'm happy that you are just like, okay, I'm an artist. Art is what art is in its different forms and
exactly,
all of that. So
exactly.
you're somebody that I've noticed that you don't just create art, you live it, right?
Yeah.
So what will be your definition of artistic freedom?
Um, that's a very good question because I'm aiming for that. That is, like I said, the whole purpose of what I'm doing is living for expression in its fullest form without constraints. And it saddens me that people bring something so opposite because there's it's actually a conundrum to say artistic freedom because art is freedom, you know, but we are saying that because people brought something that's contrary to the essence of art, which is constraints, elitism, you know, okay, you're not a real poet. Someone told me I wasn't a real poet because I was putting pictures and photography in it. And I was like, why? Like, why can literature evolve to what we want it to be
Yeah,
now? So,
absolutely.
yeah, I think freedom is just living expression in its fullest definition. So yeah, I'm aiming for that.
Without any limitations,
Yeah,
without thinking, oh, what will people think about
yeah,
it, or
just
what's
be,
people's definition about it. I think
yeah,
I was having a conversation with someone, and the conversation was revolving around how when people tell you this is how things are meant to be, and you ask who said it's meant to be this way, and you realize that maybe in 100 years before now somebody just saw, I think this is comfortable this way for me, okay, let's make it a rule, and we keep on going because that's the perfect sense it makes. There's no manual to how life is meant to be lived. It's just people that have created rules, or society trying to box you, say, okay, we need to control the way you are, so you have to walk this way, you have to talk this way, you have to go to the office, wear a tie, it has to be this way. So yeah, it's really really crazy, right? Now I'm sure that a lot of people are watching this, and maybe somebody's like, okay, I'm good at so many things, but I'm trying to just focus on one, while the person knows that he has a lot to offer, he has a lot to express. What's one piece of advice you can tell that person?
Don't overthink it. Just leave, because one thing I did who brought me here is I didn't know studying poetry would lead me to like dancing or singing or storytelling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just lived one art to the fullest. Oh, okay, I visualize it this way, I'm gonna do it. And bit by bit, it brought me to the different sides of me. So just don't overtake it, just do it. And listen to the voices in your head. They're always right.
Well, sometimes it's like there are two voices. There's one that's like, okay, go for it. The other I say,
I
stay
believe the
back, be
other one is
careful.
not you. Like,
Yeah.
your traumas don't define you. And a lot of voices you hear that aren't for expressing yourself to the fullest of you are not you. They are versions of your fear. They are versions of your traumas, and that doesn't define you. Every voice that say you shouldn't be yourself is not you, because yourself will tell you to be yourself.
I've never really thought about it that way. What you just mentioned about the voice that tells you not to do things is like versions of your fear. Because now that I think about it in hindsight, like when I've not, when I've tried to not do something, it has always been, when I look into it deeply, it's coming from a fear
Yeah,
that, okay, what if this doesn't work? Or maybe I tried something before like that and it didn't work. So it's like, okay, because it didn't work,
yeah, you got
it shouldn't
traumatized by
work.
that experience, and
Yeah,
now you're stopping yourself
from
for being
living.
you. It's like a
Yeah,
heartbreak.
yeah.
Actually, you have the same amount of probabilities every time you meet a new human. So there's no like more chances now that you had a heartbreak. It's like it reset every time. But because your mind was traumatized by an experience of failure, that trauma expresses itself by fear, by okay, you shouldn't do it. So you start finding reasons to not do it. It's never the voice you have to listen. Never.
I really like that, and thank you for sharing that with me. I think I'm going to keep it in my
Yeah, I
mind,
appreciate it.
and I hope people also, got that.
Yeah.
So most times we see people and we're like, okay, this person is always showing up, meaning life is good, they never have fears every time, like they never have thoughts of giving up, or they never have bad days. Somebody will see Arem like, oh, Arem is always happy go lucky, always making us laugh, always making us smile. But the thing is, we are humans at the end of the day, right? Have there been moments that you've doubted what you were doing, you felt like stopping, or you've just not been in a good place, and how were you able to, deal with that?
Um, I don't believe in um bliss, absolute bliss or happiness. I believe that the essence of life is just to figure out yourself and the frequency at which you can navigate and be fully yourself despite everything else. And that's for me space. So yeah, I'm actually at a dark place right now talking to you. But I know myself and I know that um every dark spot you earn makes you believe that you'll never get out of it. But it's a lie. So me knowing that it's a lie make me okay. Like I don't get mad at myself when I have malaria. Like it's just like a moment in life that can pass, and that's how I approach life. So I never listen to those voices that tell me I need to stop or focus on the dark side without like, it's like a disrespect to myself to not notice because I guide a lot of people psychologically. So me telling them something and realize that okay, they are not being able now to see how strong they are, to put in perspective everything they've done good, because the echo of the darkness is so loud. So when I'm in that echo myself, I know okay, I'm just not listening, but the voices that tell me that I'm good and that I will be okay, they are there. So I really step down on listening to the darkness of me.
Oh. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you for sharing that, by the way.
Yeah, thank.
Now, you mentioned something earlier. We're talking about like stuff in Yaounde and all. You've been an artist for a while in Yaounde, and yes, we can say that it's thriving. The industry is thriving to some level. What would you say? What are some of the improvements that you think can be made in the
Um,
art scene?
yeah, I'm gonna talk about Yaounde because
Yeah.
yeah, I think Yaounde, like I said, is very close-minded. You know, you mentioned it earlier. You said that that saddens me too is the fact that the noticeable artistic sphere or space is the French Institute. You know, in Yaoundé because people downsize anything that isn't French here, and yeah, it's symptomatic of us not pushing on elevating our minds and opening ourselves to create from ourselves outside is and not the other way around to consume. But like you said, there are many artists out there that don't listen to the voices of multipotentialism because the atmosphere and the context is so closed. So our responsibility as humans of the city is break those boundaries on ourselves and let the light of ourselves irradiate, you know. And bit by bit, like I did with my brothers at Mapogo
Mm.
collective, bit by bit we are influencing real humans around us that in their own space can irradiate that light, and bit by bit the city will be more open maybe in 10 or 20 years, but we're reaching there.
Yeah.
We're reaching there.
I was about to come to Mapogo Collective
Yeah.
because you guys are a group of phenomenal artists. I was at your exhibition last year and it was fantastic. And I love the bond that you guys have. You guys are similar yet so different, or let me say unique. Like
Yeah.
everybody is unique, but you guys are still similar. So how did Mapogo Collective come about?
Actually, I always had a dream to build a community of artists from Yaoundé that can push forward the mindset of multipotentialism and anti-conformism. So when I met my brother Flicky Art in join us an artist, like people say, he's an artist that I met in Douala. He was in a collective named Barricade, and he's like his whole personality just struck me, and from there I decided, okay, I'm gonna live through myself and art. And I wanted to move to Douala actually, because Yaoundé, like I said, was so closed.
We all wanted to move to Douala at
Yeah,
some
yeah,
point.
I wanted to move to Douala so bad, and he actually was moving the opposite way, coming to Yaoundé, and for me that was just madness. That was madness, and he told me something that stuck to my mind. He said, if you're moving out of here because you can't eat, the solution is not to quit. The solution is to create your own table. And I actually took it to heart, and I decided, okay, I'm going to create this collective and we're going to make these things change at our level. So I called him, I called a bunch of other brothers that were moving in Yaoundé, and we set up a first exhibition in 2023 at Espresso Restaurant. And then the second was last year, and looking forward to something this year too.
I think I just really love the story about how your journey has evolved over time. And also, I've noticed you're somebody who is even intentional about the people you surround yourself with,
Yeah,
the conversations that you have. Like every time I see you, even if we're not talking, you're talking
yeah,
to someone else. I
yeah,
always see like, okay, this guy is so deep. Well, some of
yeah,
us like we're playing out here. But I absolutely love that about you.
yeah.
And
Thanks,
every time I meet you, it's like there's always something I learn from you. And I think for me, that is a beautiful quality to have in a person,
thanks,
that at
thanks. Yeah,
every point you meet someone, you're able to learn something from them without them even saying anything to you directly. Just
yeah.
learn from them and just pick a thing or two. And I think
Thanks.
people, or some of us that are around you, are blessed to have you. And I'm happy that you are living to the highest peak of self-expression, because it's something that people need to, I always tell people that I want it to be that when I die, I'm dying empty. I don't want to have anything that I've not done, even though before now I used to like hold myself back, because I'm like, okay, I don't think people know me as this person.
Yeah,
So they know me as just using my voice. Let's just use my voice on TV and that's it. But I realized that there was so much more that I could do, whether I'm good at it or not, just for the form of expression, just enjoy it. And another problem that I see in the arts and or with artists is the whole point where people try to make art a business, or art has to bring forth some sort of like money has to come in. Art on its own is an expression, but also the problem of having to, okay, how can I like live as an artist?
yeah,
So artists will try to, okay, I have to juggle one more thing, I have to. So for somebody who wants to start their artistic journey or all of that, and they're thinking, okay, how am I going to eat? Arem has motivated me. Okay, let's go into art. Yeah, let's go and meet John as an artist and all of that. What would you tell that person?
uh, like I believe the answer can only be found once you try, because if you stop yourself from trying, you have no answer at all. At least you have an answer for sure if you try it. You know, I believe that goals, people have like a wrecked POV of goals. Goals and objectives to be ticked doesn't mean done, it means attempted. You see, so you have to attempt something and put all your efforts, do your best. Once you do your best,
When you should do your best.
the rest is not up to you. You may fail, you may do everything, but the rest is not up to you. You've done your best, and you observe it. So you can only find the answer and the perfect frequency when you can be yourself without having the most stress. But it only happens once you try on and on. You experience, yeah, there's nothing easy, and knowledge about yourself is like the hardest subject in the school of life. So you have to go through pain experience to listen to yourself at those moments and find the perfect frequency.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All
that's it.
right. So you heard him. You have to attempt it
Yeah,
before you can tick it off. So let's do a little game. It's not a game actually. Still, we're still having this conversation,
you have a
right?
lot of guys.
Of
Yeah,
course, you're quite enough. We have to keep you on your toes. So
okay,
I'm going to start a sentence, and you answer it without thinking too much.
okay.
If I wasn't an artist, I would be.
Dead.
Okay, that was a good one. You got me. You got me
Yeah,
good. Okay. Arem is like.
white. That just came. You said I shouldn't think about it, so yeah.
The craziest thing I've ever done for my art is.
Stay in Yaounde.
Okay, I'm loving your answers. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
The one thing people don't know about me is.
Um, People don't know I'm an introvert. Like, people are so surprised that I love being by myself so much. Because when they see me surrounded by people, I'm so in tune but I actually love my presence more than every other presence. So that's it.
All right. Arem in 5 years will be.
Arem.
If I could listen to one artist that's music for the rest of my life, it will be.
I hate questions like that because
Don't think too much.
I hate to
Don't
not think. Please.
Don't think too much. Don't think too much.
Because now the answer coming to my head is Yaounde, but that's obviously not someone I'm going to listen to a lot. So I have to think.
Should we come back to the question?
Yeah, come back to
Okay.
the question.
The one word that describes my art is.
Me.
Okay. The best piece of advice I've ever gotten is.
Put a table if you can't eat on someone else's table. Yeah.
Okay, if I could listen to one artist, who would it be?
To one artist, the artist that comes to my mind is Yaounde from France.
Yeah.
He's a Cameroonian inspired artist. So yeah.
All right. If I was on a deserted island and I'm told to choose just one form of art to practice for the rest of my life, what would it be?
I wouldn't choose and I would die.
Okay, thank you for indulging me for that with that game. I think
Yeah.
I've got a little perspective into your mind. But then, like I said, we are going to keep on, keeping you up on your toes. So we have a
Yeah.
little bag there.
Okay.
You open it and you pick a question.
Okay. Should I open it?
Yeah, sure. Open it and you read it.
Who is your biggest inspiration? My biggest inspiration. That's a tough question. I don't have one biggest inspiration.
Okay.
I have moments where the universe sent inspiration and artists that guided me. For example, back when I was in secondary school and I wanted to be a rapper, the artist that actually made me understand the whole creative process behind just being an artist. They are artists, and artists with fullness of their creative mind was Kanye West.
Okay.
Then there were moments where I met some people, like I said, Jonathan Artist, the Barricade Collective that changed my life. I don't have one inspiration. I have
alright.
like moments. Yeah. So that was a tough question though.
Thank you for answering, though.
Yeah.
So, before we let you go free, if you could write a letter to 13-year-old Arem, how would the letter go? So, imagine 13-year-old Arem is listening to you, or you are writing the letter. Dear Arem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dear Arem, say hi to your mom. Tell her you love her. Because one day you will become the best artist in the world. But the other side of it is you became that artist because you had so much pain in you. Because you never said to your mom that you loved her enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful letter.
Thanks.
What would you say is the thing you are most proud about yourself?
I will say my I wouldn't say humility, but there's a part of me that is never like shy to learn from other people. Like I'm talking to you, I'm learning from you. And if you're an inspiration to me, I wouldn't stop myself from letting you know. I'm a very eloquent person, but I can quiet myself to listen to someone that actually teaches me something. So I think that ability is not common, and I'm so proud to have it, to learn from my friends, to learn from people around me, get inspired by everybody. And I think it's a cheat code to life, because the quiet man in the room, the most humble man somehow, is actually the smartest man, because he has the opportunity to learn more than someone who thinks he already knows everything. So yeah, I'm that person.
All right.
You know.
So thank you so much, Arem, for coming on Quad Enough. And like I told you before, you are a phenomenal person. And every
Thanks.
time I get to listen to you, I learn from you. Your mind is fascinating.
Thanks.
And your art, I love how you are able to, be expressive. You do whatever you want to do. You enjoy yourself while at it. And you just inspire me in so many ways, and I'm
Appreciate.
happy that I get to tell you, because one thing I promised myself is I would always give people their flowers, because holding it in is not going to do anything. So just let people know,
Yeah, thanks.
you inspire them, let people know you enjoyed something that they did. And I'm happy that you could come on the show. You honored my invitation, even though it's centuries after
Yeah,
you came on the show. And I'm hoping that we'll get to work a lot more together,
yeah.
and keep pushing for living to the highest peak of self-expression. Well, before we close, we have the last segment of the show, which is what's next. And this what's next, if I don't say it, people will come after me. Guess what? Valentine is in a few days. So I just want to tell you, all single people, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble, because all the couples are out. They've already started doing photo shoots. So if you've not done your own, I'm very sorry for you. But then if you don't have plans, or you have plans, Sisol is going to be having a concert on the 14th of February at the EFC, l'Institut Français. So if you want to go and have a good time, listen to, soul music, alone, with a friend, with a partner, with yourself, that's a perfect place for you to go. Arem, do you have plans for the 14th?
Um, yeah, me, myself, my kids. Yeah, tell them the most important humans in my life that I love them. Yeah,
That's so sweet. Well, happy Valentine's in advance
yeah,
to those who celebrate, because I'm not a Valentine person, or breath. It's a story for another day. But then happy Valentine's to everyone who is celebrating, and make sure you have fun. Tell your loved ones you love them. It doesn't have to be your partner, your family, your sisters, your friends, especially. Just because they're your friends doesn't mean they don't need to hear that more often. And also tell yourself that you're proud of yourself, you love yourself. Well, unfortunately, we've come to the end of today's episode of Quad Enough. We had the most amazing Arem to join us on the show. Thank you once again for coming
thank
on
you,
the
good
show.
enough. I'm happy.
Okay, so make sure you like, you subscribe, you comment. What were the highlights of the show for you? Tell us, is there anybody you'd like to see on the show? Make sure you tell us, and we'll definitely see how we can bring them on the show. Well, I'm signing out, but always remember there's something inside of you that the world needs to hear. I remain your host, the voice Jemma. See you next week.